Welcome to Whips in the Dungeon. Today we're just going to be breaking in a couple signal whips and throwing them a little bit for you. I'll talk a little bit about signals as I'm throwing. This is Bunny. Bunny's my Coton de Toulier. She's still, I consider her a puppy. She'll be 1 year old this coming Easter. You can probably tell from my t-shirt it's around Christmas time here. And she's my clickbait. So now that you've clicked on this video and you're interested in signal whips, let's put her down so we can throw a little bit. So I've got a matched set of 4-foot signals here that I've been breaking in. When I'm breaking in a new whip, and I don't do this with all my other whips that are already broken in, but when I'm breaking in a new whip, I condition that whip every time before I throw it during the break-in phase. Once I consider the whip broken in, or at least broken into the point that I'm comfortable playing with it in the dungeon, then I only condition it when it needs it, which is maybe about every 6 months, a couple times a year. You don't want to over-condition your whip, or it'll break it down and become loosey-goosey, but you definitely want to condition it during the break-in period. So I've conditioned one, I'm going to need to condition the other one. You don't want to use a liquid conditioner or a lotion conditioner. You want it to be a paste type. Fibrings and Picards makes a good paste conditioner. Most of your Australian and New Zealand whip makers will make their own secret concoction. There's a few American whip makers that are doing this as well. I think Blake Gorey at Smoky Mountain Whips makes something he calls snake oil. That's his own concoction, but it should be a paste conditioner. Warm it up with your fingers, rub it into the whip, and I do this every time before I throw it. So signals have gotten really popular with horizontal throwing, and what it's kind of colloquially or within the scene come to be known as East Coast swing. Maybe because it's a swinging motion with the whip in a horizontal plane. Maybe it's because it kind of evolved and generated out of the East Coast of the United States, that style. You can certainly throw that style two-handed in an over-under manner, okay? All 4 of the techniques that I teach work with a signal whip. You can do bow and arrow. Some people call it a slingshot. With any whip, when you throw it out, don't jerk it back towards you. It's not a towel crack. If you try to do a towel crack, it's going to come back and hit you faster than it went out. So we do what I call leaving it out. Leave it out, recover it. Leave it out, recover it. And like I said, I'm breaking these in, so I'm gonna do that with both whips because I'm trying to break in the match set with the way I throw. Now you can't do bow and arrow two-handed, but the next technique, over the shoulder with static throws, you're coming right off your shoulder with just a thumb push. And you can do that two-handed. I can do that together. I can do that staggered. And I can do it distributed, where one's going forward as the other one's coming back. Okay, different variations. Okay, two-handed over-under, and then two-handed what I'm going to call a variation of the forward figure 8, but it's 4-count Florentine. So the forward figure 8 with one hand would just be like this. You do it with your other hand. And I'm not left-handed, so this is my awkward hand, but I'm trying. Okay, when I throw two-handed, my main mental focus is on my offhand because my other hand seems to know what it's supposed to do. So I'm really, as I'm talking, and I have a split focus, but I'm talking, but my main focus is on keeping that left hand under control. Okay, and if you want to get really fancy, you can do 6-count Florentine, but not all of those strokes would be finding the back of the person that's standing with you. So obviously I have some ways to go with 6-count, okay? But just over under. You don't have to get overly fancy with it, right? Okay, over under. And if you're doing horizontal, you want to keep that horizontal plane as even as you can so your strikes are consistent. And it's wrapping around and it's kissing my back. So I'm getting a chance to feel the whip as well, okay? Whereas with the Florentine, the 4-count Florentine, I'm not feeling that whip on my back. Only the whip catcher is. So I can throw a little bit with my my sheepskin. As you're practicing with the sheepskin, you can see where that cracker is passing. You want a nice even horizontal line, consistent line. I'm able to achieve it with the right hand. My left hand, like I said, I'm working with the left hand. So left hand isn't as consistent as the right hand, but it's consistent enough that I can begin playing with it in the dungeon. So then when you go into 4-count, you're looking for even strokes. What I'm looking for is even strokes in kind of a crosshatch pattern. If I'm throwing really well, we'll end up with angel wings on each shoulder of the whip bottom that I'm working with. Okay. But that's it for a little bit of practice with my signals as I continue to break these in. I'm going to keep throwing after the video's over, but as always, thanks for watching Whips in the Dungeon.